Good morning. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2024. It is 10 a.m. and I call this meeting of the Platte County Commission to order. This morning we're fortunate to have Pastor Michael Lazio with us. Would you please lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance?
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. I have a verse that I'm going to start out with, and just thinking about this verse is kind of applicable to what we're going to be talking about here today: foundations, buildings, that kind of stuff. And so the verse is Proverbs 14:34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And Psalm 89 says, righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. And I was privileged to be a part of a gathering in Jeff City many years ago, and I've been there many times since. And it was prayer gatherings that were held on the lawn of the Capitol in Jefferson City. And then we moved inside to the rotunda in the Capitol. I don't know if you've been there, many of you have, or maybe all of you have, but when you walk in that building, that's impressive. It's astounding. It's just almost like, wow. And so the first thing I noticed when I walked into that hall, into the open area where gatherings are held, on the left side of the stairway going up to the governor's office is this verse. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is an abomination. It's like, whoever's governor has to look at that like every day walking up to their office to be reminded. But not only that, in the rotunda, there's pillars on the east and west and the south. And above those pillars are scripture verses all the way around, and they're held up by those pillars, which is interesting because pillars support things, they hold things up, and the Word of God is at the top of those pillars on this ring. And so I was just going to read those verses that are up there. On the west, the earth is the Lord's in its fullness, the world and all those who dwell in it. Psalm 24:1. So that's on the west ring. On the south, it says, where there is no vision, no revelation of God and his word, the people are unrestrained or they perish because there's no vision. And so we talk a lot about vision in this room right here as commissioners in Platte County. And then on the east, the Lord of hosts be with us yet, lest we forget. And that's from Psalm 46. The Lord of hosts is with us, God of Jacob, our stronghold and our refuge. He's with us. And so I've got photographs of all those, and I was just looking at them again this morning. It's like, wow, those are impressive. They impacted me as I'm standing in there. And so I just wanted to submit that to us, that those are the foundations that we're founded on, our governments are founded on, our nation was founded on. And so just reminding myself, I'm speaking about this, but I'm reminding us too. And so if you pray with me. Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for it being the foundation of everything. Nations, governments, city governments, county governments, state governments, our land, and all the things that go with us. And we thank you for your word, because your word stands forever. It does not pass away, and we thank you for that right now. And we bless this meeting and this gathering today and everything that's going to be talked about. In the precious name of the Lord. Amen. So if you join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Okay. First item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pritchard.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood.
Yes.
Commissioner Banaker.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, this is a little bit out of order, but it's important this morning that we get this item taken care of right at the top of the list. And that is announcements from county office holders and staff. I believe County Administrator Wes Minder has something for us.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, today, we're going to present the county's detention center master plan. This is an endeavor we started earlier this year, and we retained a consultant to look at it. But before we did that, I wanted to kind of set the tone and history of our detention facilities that we have. Back in the 70s, the existing historic courthouse was expanded on the north side, and that's where we detained prisoners. And then in the 90s, the county did a another master plan facility effort that we're going through right now. And what you see on the picture right there is an aerial view of at the time, the brand new 1989 Administration Center. And before the detention center was built, and on the lower left, you'll see the scale model, which we still have of that detention facility. But in 1998, the Sheriff's Office and the Detention Center was constructed between the two buildings, and that's what's been there since for the last 26 years, and it's housed our inmate population. When that 1998 facility was designed, it was designed for 151 beds. The chart shows 154 beds, but they're holding cells which aren't counted. So when we talk beds, we're talking overnight beds where we hold inmates throughout the evening. And back in 2018, we did an expansion, the Sheriff's Office did, and that expansion was completed by adding bunks within cells that were just designed for a smaller capacity. Generally, they went from 1 to 2 beds. And so the detention facility was designed for 20 to 25 years, and we've hit that point, and we were able to squeeze some things inside there. Also in the existing facility, the way it's set up is there's 7 pods, and those pods are set up such that the Sheriff's Office can separate inmates by their classification. We have 2 female pods, we have 5 male pods, and then we have trustees. And what a trustee is a trustee is an inmate that is a low security risk that the Sheriff's Office uses, and they assist with operations of the jail. And that is one way that we can utilize some of our inmates who are just in here for minor offenses to assist with their stay until they get to their court date. We also had an unfinished basement area that was termed Futures. Futures has been around for a long time. We've heard a lot about Futures, but that was a area that was meant to be expanded at such time that the county needed additional space. However, Futures was just designed for more beds, and we still have issues with the operations and maintenance as far as kitchen, storage, food preparation, laundry, evidence, inmate storage, and all sorts of other support issues that you ordinarily don't think about other than just beds. Back in 1990, kind of when this whole thing started, the county's population was about 57,000. In 2000, when 2 years after it opened, it was about 73,000. So if you look at the 2020 numbers, we're either 40 or 80% larger, whatever year you want to pick, as far as a population of the county and the facility. And so with additional population comes additional issues that we have to resolve, of which is an increasing inmate capacity issue. Over the last 10, 12 years, we've done multiple kind of planning efforts. There was a GGA, it's an architecture firm, did a study back in 2014. There was a citizens, the Platte County Jail Committee was the official title, but that was a citizens committee that looked at our capacity issues. In 2014, Trainer HL, another architecture firm, did an analysis, and in 2018 they updated that. And then we also have 2 studies, one from 2019 and one from 2023 by Bill Garnos, who happens to be a councilman for the city of Gladstone, but he's also a national consultant on incarceration and inmates and projections and needs for detention facilities. While this was going on in 2023, we received Judge Fincham, before he retired, and paneled a grand jury, and the grand jury looked at our jail facilities. And so the grand jury was kind of an impartial look at our facilities. And that grand jury found that, it's the opinion of the grand jury that the jail is over capacity, needs more space and services, is understaffed. Furthermore, the grand jury is concerned that these capacity issues do not allow individuals to be incarcerated that need to be incarcerated. And the grand jury believes the event there is any excess capacity, outside agencies would house inmates at the jail. So this was a citizen panel that was, came to the same conclusion that our professional studies folks have come to. Also in 2023, the commission established the Committee for Public Safety. It was I can't remember exactly, 8 or 10 member commission. Roger Lewis, is actually in the audience, is a retired KCPD commander for the Northland, was a member of that committee. It will be available for any questions. But what they did is that committee, citizen committee, looked at background information, met with the sheriff's office, prosecutor's office, the circuit and associate judges, the staff, and toured the facilities. In November, they came into a recommendation where they authorized the construction of a basic facility, which would be stacked, that would have 312 new beds in addition to the existing beds, for a total of about 460 beds with 13 pods, and also expansion of the service areas. So with all of that background information, the county sent out a request for qualifications in December, and in January, the county selected a design team. The design team that we chose was HMN Architects. They were founded in 1989. They're a local firm. They've done quite a few facilities in Missouri for similar counties, similar needs. They also have 2 major sub-consultants, Henderson Engineers, which is doing their mechanical, electrical. They're a national firm that does a lot of work. And Walter P. Moore is a national firm that does structural design for quite a few things. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Adam with HMN to discuss kind of the county's concept plan.
Okay, so can you hear me? So first off, I guess I'll start off with this summer when the Committee for Public Safety was meeting. They contacted us about kind of sitting in the back of the room and helping them out with guidance on making decisions and doing some homework, costs, where we can put things, how would this work? Our work, the stuff we given to them led to that recommendation that Wes just went over, the 464 beds. Let's put it right next to the existing jail, right off to the west, and we can do it unless we close streets or tried to go across the street or any of those options. One thing about the Committee for Public Safety is they were focused on beds. Just what are we going to do with beds? There's also a lot of other things that go into expanding a jail, basically 3 times of what the services, your intake and booking, your laundry, your kitchen. So that led us to working through this plan, working with the sheriff, going to multiple meetings to get things outlined. What we're seeing up there is a overall plan, a conceptual plan of it. We have more detailed drawings, but for security purposes, we know those things are kept behind doors, so nobody gets a hold of those. This plan will meet the needs to 2048. Gives us the ability to separate inmates, call that classification, violent, nonviolent. What we'll be doing is adding 16 classifications to the 7 they already have, which gives them a lot of options. We're also proposing a indirect supervision pod, which means we have smaller day rooms, more classifications. The current intake and booking is going to be a new medical and mental health wing, able to segregate, able to house, able to watch people in that location. That's and that also includes their existing Sally Port. They can actually, if they had to get an ambulance, they could use that and keep everything secure. You want to go to the next one? So you can see one of the big things was futures. What are we doing with futures, or the unused space in the basement? For multiple reasons, the plan of stacking and doing a half basically a half pod down there. Just wasn't working out for anybody. So what we've done is we've actually added some housing down there, which will be your trustee housing, and then we're gonna move the laundry and produce a new laundry. So they work in the kitchen and in the laundry, which is down there, and then we'll expand the kitchen. The kitchen itself, the equipment is adequate size wise, but when you triple everything, now need more storage for both freezer, cooler, and dry storage. So in that area will be expanded. We also got 2 program spaces going to go in there too for classes, treatment classes, program, however you want to call it. And right above that is actually the existing 151 beds. We are going to, how should I say it? We're going to do maintenance in there. There's some locks that are bad. Modernize anything that's needs to be repaired. That's the goal there. And so here you can see where we've expanded the booking. The blue line is what they call Broadway. That is your path to court. You can see the medical cell, suicide watch, mental health area has gotten much larger, taking up all of booking. And then we also got a dedicated medical treatment area. Go to the addition. So onto the addition. With moving booking and intake and their office space, which they really don't have much now for detention, and the way the site works, what we wanted to do was we wanted to line up the existing housing with a level of housing that's either go above or below. It became apparent that we needed to have a new vehicle sally port. We needed to have extremely expanded inmate property storage and a lot of other space that's required within the jail, not just housing. So what we're proposing is on the lowest level, which would be down there on Vine Street, vehicle sally port comes in, and that's all your support, your intake, release, administration, inmate property storage, and then we go up a level, which lines up with the current jail level, and do 160 beds, and then go up another level and do another 160 beds. 7 classifications per, and then we've got our other classifications of our trustee and our medical. So that's just an image of what a prefabricated metal cell looks like, what a typical day room will look like from a similar project. You can see we're actually got a guardrail going up all the way now, because that's been important. You can see the video visitation on the wall. You can see what a cell looks like. No frills. Those are pre-manufactured. They're all finished on the inside, and you hook up the plumbing and you're ready to go.
So just to highlight kind of this slide, the reason why we showed it is the prefabricated cells. The way that the construction industry is going is you get the most efficient cost to build things when you do it off-site, you truck it in. And so we would essentially build the shell of the jail. That'd be the exterior walls, and then these pods would be lifted and placed. And so we're not spending a lot of time and effort and labor for folks constructing things out in the elements. They're done off-site, they're hauled in. You see that in quite a bit of other construction with prefabricated beams, storm pipes, every sort of thing. So we're looking at ways we can do the most efficient things. And so that's kind of some of the issues as far as the proposed jail solution that we're looking at just from a physical standpoint. We did ask Prosecutor Zahn to come up and speak a little bit about, we mentioned how we'd gone from 151 to 180 beds. Mr. Zahn's office and the court system and doing some things to also mitigate and help with our overcrowding issue.
It's a reasonable question when you're thinking about a project like this to ask, well, what are we doing to try to reduce our jail population? And the fact of the matter is we've done a number of things in Platte County to try to do that. First and foremost, this commission has invested in new video technology in our jail to allow many court appearances by criminal defendants to happen from the jail rather than bringing those defendants up into court. That both helps on safety issues which the sheriff could talk more about, but it also makes our dockets move more quickly and process cases more quickly, hopefully reducing the jail size because people's cases are adjudicated much more quickly than they ever would be. So that was a very good investment by this commission. Secondly, I'm really proud of something we've been doing in our office since 2021, and that's our Platt Cares program. Platt Cares is a prosecutor-led diversion program. It's a program where we take first-time nonviolent offenders, and rather than putting them in jail, frankly, in many cases, rather than even charging them with a crime, we'll give them the opportunity to do community service, to admit their wrongdoing, to make restitution if that's appropriate, to keep a job or get a job if they don't have one, or stay in school, and then to complete an educational project that's directly related to their crime. Those folks who used to perhaps go to jail now are no longer going to jail. I'm really proud of that program. We're up to about 150 graduates at this point. We'll have 200 graduates by the end of this year. It's really going well. And again, that program is reducing our jail population in a really successful way. It's another set of programs that I'm also very proud of, and that's our treatment court program in Platte County. Platte County is the only county on either side of the state line in the Kansas City metropolitan area. It has all 4 of the major treatment courts: a drug treatment court, a DWI treatment court, a veterans treatment court, and a mental health treatment court. Platte County is the only county that's doing that, again, partly because of the investments of this commission. Right now, we've got 82 people in our treatment courts. Those folks are rolling over all the time because in 2023, we graduated 44 people. I expect we'll have about the same number of graduates this year. Again, those are folks who otherwise likely would have been in our jail and instead are getting treatment for either their mental health or their substance abuse issues, and thereby, again, reducing our jail population. The other thing that our courts are doing is this commission has invested significantly in pretrial services for folks who otherwise would be inmates of our county jail, but instead are being released into the community, but with proper supervision. Back in 2018, we were only spending $10,000 a year on that. This year, the budget is almost $400,000 for that. Again, it's a significant investment to try to do things to keep people out of our jail. So then the question is, well, then why do we need a new jail? And here's the reality of it. Even with all of these things that we're doing, thankfully, Platte County is the fastest growing county in Missouri. It's a county where people want to come. We built a jail way back in the 1990s that was proposed to be a 20 or 25-year solution. We're now past that time period. And when you're the fastest growing county in Missouri, you're going to need additional jail space. That was foreseen 2 decades ago that we would need this, and we need it now. And I can't overstate the importance of having sufficient jail cells for public safety, for the safety of our families, for our businesses in Platte County. One of the worst things that can happen to a community is if you run out of jail cells for people who deserve to be in jail. Those are our violent criminals, our sexual offenders, and folks who otherwise just won't show up for court. We've got to have enough jail cells to do that. And the reality of it is, today we just don't. So I appreciate all of the attention that this commission has given to this issue, that the Citizens Commission has given to it, our grand jury has given to it. This is a really important problem that deserves a solution if Platte County is going to continue to be, in my opinion, the safest county in the Kansas City metro area. Thank you.
And then lastly, we have Sheriff Owen to give a few brief comments. One of the issues that both the county and the sheriff's office have is when you have a jail, you actually have to have county staff in that jail, and so the sheriff is going to discuss a little bit about the conditions for that.
Good morning. I want to echo first the compliments of Mr. Zahn
has brought towards the commission in trying to do the funding and reduce the population through these programs and the SAFE Act. And we've tried to work hard with the prosecutor's office for this reduction, get these programs, and to honestly to keep people out of jail when possible. And with that, everybody kind of talks about what's a jail and what do you have. And we have a bedroom community. We don't advertise a lot of crime. We don't do a lot of things. There's a brief blurb on the news, hey, something happened, but I don't think people understand totally, even after all these programs and stuff, there's still people that have to be in jail. There's no ifs. These people have to be in jail. Currently in the jail, this is not an inclusive list, but we have one civil non-support, which a judge has issued that down. We have 5 persistent DWIs, one of which, or 2 were involved in motor vehicle accidents where people were injured seriously. I have 11 felony possession or sale of narcotics. We have 5 felony property damage, 14 felony stealings. We have 5 felony stealings of firearms or explosives. We have 1 first-degree tampering. We have 1 armed vehicle hijacking case. We have 4 burglars, 1 case of arson, 11 robberies. This includes armed robberies for your businesses and things. I have 30 assault suspects in custody currently that actually fought, injured somebody, done something. And out of that 30, 13 of those are first-degree assaults, which are usually very serious physical harm, stuff just short of a homicide in many cases, to where somebody's really been hurt. We have 2 felony harassments. I have 2 unlawful possession, or I'm sorry, I have 8 unlawful possession of a weapon. It seems like more and more everything we're doing, we're taking guns off of everybody we stop about half the time anymore. I have 7 adult rapes or sodomies, 1 child abuse. I have 2 children, 2 endangering a child, and I have 12 cases that include child sex or child crimes, to include child sexual cases of child porn, enticement of a child, child molestation, sodomy of a child, and rape of a child. And I have 12 of those people that are currently incarcerated that are a threat to the community. You can't put these people out. And we have 8. We have 1 murder. I'm back up. I have 1 manslaughter, and I have 8 homicide or murder suspects currently in custody. This is to give you a list of kind of idea what's here in the jail and why incarceration is necessary. These people cannot be out on the street. There's some other incidentals down there. We've picked up people. The court's issued warrants for people to show up on stuff to where they've posted bond. They've posted their bond and then they never show back up for court. And we have instances where I can name several that we've now spent thousands and tens of thousands of dollars picking these people up. 3 trips on one I can think of in particular that's down in Florida. They get arrested, they come back here, we extradite them, we spend $4,000 or $5,000 to get them back. They get a court date, the judge for whatever reason continues or sets a different bond, and then the people get released. They don't show up for the next court date, so they get arrested again. So some of these people are like 3 and 4 of where we're traveling to get people, and we have to get people from, we get them Florida, California, and we've had a couple in Alaska. I mean, none of this is cheap to go get these people. So these repeat offenders of not showing up are incarcerated as well. And there's not a lot, but they need to be here to start being held accountable for their options and their crimes, and us not spending a fortune traveling all over the world to go get them. The other issue is that, we've talked about overcrowding in the jail. And during my time here, I actually was on the committee to build the old jail. And we got that passed. Honestly, they said 20, 25 years. And, we've gotten there now. And the jail is severely overcrowded and has been. We've taken every mitigation step that I can think of. We've actually gone into single cells and added bunks. We've increased that. We've got people now sleeping on the floor with mattresses and things. That there is no more room. I mean, we're out of room. And one of the requirements of the jail is I have to classify these people. I can't put in a child sex predator with a homicide suspect, or I can't put in a DWI case with a felon, for robbery. So, I mean, there's just, these people have to be separated and done. And currently we're out of room to do that, honestly. We're also at the point that at one point we hit 240 inmates, and this jail is not designed for 240. I mean, it was 180 beds, and on the last expansion, 85% of that is considered full because we have to have room to move people and move the classifications. Somebody new comes in, we have to be able to do that. The other thing is that we currently are not capable of doing, and we were, is we're not providing jail space to our cities and the municipal courts. And many of those cities have people that they would like to sentence to jail. Persistent offenders do different things, and that space is not currently available. It used to be. That was part of the old jail, and what it was for was we also took care of our cities. So this situation is there. More so, though, the overcrowding is starting to drive into situations that we're starting to have safety issues. The building, over 25 years, was built for that purpose, is starting to deteriorate, and the overcrowding has caused that. People are just jammed together. With that, though, it takes county employees to have to run the jail and bring in county maintenance and things. And every one of those maintenance people, when these toilets stop working, things happen in the cells, the doors don't work, require county maintenance or employee, and every one of those coming in has to be escorted by deputies into the building and stay with them while they're doing their work for their safety. There's also instances we've had to move, an entire pod of 15, 18 people, 20 people, whatever it may be, into the gymnasium, so that there could be a piece of work done in a pod to where we didn't have to worry about what was in the pod and the safety of the employees. So it's really starting to be a problem. With the expansion of the jail and the pictures in there, the one on the left actually shows that the prefab pods will help us eliminate that. Those pods are set in a way that allows the county maintenance people to work from behind and have paths around the cells and everything from the outside, so they don't have to enter the cells to do most of the work, which will help with the staffing levels for us, and it'll also help with the safety, I believe, of the maintenance people and staff of the county as well as our staff. So with that, current inmate booking area, you pull in the sally port, you bring them in, and there's an open space. Those 3 holding pod or cells were originally designed for holding cells. Those currently are all being used as suicide watch. That's the only place that we have that's close to be able to check on these people periodically. Every so many minutes you're supposed to check on this thing, and we've well exceeded our suicide watches to the point that was one of the requests I did have in the design of the new jail. And talking to this, is we get enough cells in here that, one, I can have the holding cells for the people that are coming in, and some of those people are violent and things, that we've got a place to put them when they come in. But 2 is the actual place that we can have suicide cells and mental health in an area that they can be watched. We've had people that are, to be honest with you, I just use the words nuts. I don't know what else to do. They're so mentally deranged, I guess is a good word on some of this. We've had people come in, they're out of it. They're taking their clothes off. They're in there. They're spreading feces on the walls. These are the people that are in there that we have to watch and do, and those have to be almost under a constant supervision. And this jail was not designed for that. And so hopefully through the process of design, we're trying to start working on some of this. I recently attended a meeting last week, jail training actually, and the Department of Mental Health for the state was there, and they do not plan on building any additional beds for mental health. Everybody's on a waiting list, and they're expecting the counties are holding these people in the county jail until they can find a bed, which by their own admission can be a year or 2. And our jail's not designed for that in any way, shape, or form. So we have some issues there. Lastly, though, the biggest concern above and beyond this is that the jail is, as I mentioned, is deteriorating. And the jail was well designed, well built when it was done, state of the art at the time. It doesn't meet current standards. But the other side of the deterioration is that it's starting to decay. Some of the metal doors in the shower areas, as an example, I don't want to get too detailed, but some of that is able to be peeled. The inmates have figured out how to peel, and they're taking and making weapons with this. They're sharpening these items, and they're finding vent straps. They've just found the stuff that is rusted through to where they can start breaking and doing, or peel it off and make weapons out of this. And I'm extremely concerned about the safety of the county employees, but also, quite honestly, my staff, first and foremost. And I still have a responsibility to keep these other inmates safe. So if we have weapons and we're shaking these pods, and they have weapons, they have them for a purpose. All we're doing by allowing this to continue is providing them more weapons, and it's more of a safety hazard all the time. So, and there's a picture of them up there, but one of them in my hand, this is a doorstop lag bolt that came out, and believe it or not, they've ground this down on the concrete to the point that, I mean, and I'll show it to anybody who wants it, but this is a pinpoint sharp edge, and this will penetrate our vest. I mean, it will go through a bulletproof vest, just with the design of what this is and how it is. So these are the type of things that we're now having to fight or watch for as weapons with these inmates when we have to deal with these people and move them or change them, or they get mad, or they didn't get their way on something, or they have to go to bed and they're in the middle of watching, I mean, whatever. They're dangerous on some of the stuff, and with the deterioration of this jail, we're providing them weapons that we need to get stopped, and then hoping that with the new jail and the renovation of the old, we'll get out of this. The new doors will be there. The things will be changed. There'll be different modifications on systems, things like that will help keep the employees and the inmates and the staff, I mean, honestly, safer. And that's my biggest concern. So I'll leave it at that, but go ahead.
I would just like to say, Sheriff, thank you. The general public doesn't think about what goes on in the jail, and that's good. They shouldn't. That's our responsibility. It's your responsibility, and we're okay with that. But in this situation where we have an overcrowding situation, it is sometimes important to explain to the public what the conditions are like in the jail. It's not pleasant. It's not good. And that's why we're here. So thank you for laying those things out. Appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is that it?
We're just here for questions.
I would just like to, a lot of work has gone into the study of this jail situation from the committee in 2015 to the committee in 2018, 2 inmate projection studies, the Committee for Public Safety, which Roger Lewis was on. He's here today. Thank you. And to the work that we've done since the committee made their recommendation. A lot of work has gone into this. And today I just want to say thank you to the people involved. I'd like to say thank you to County Administrator Wes Minder, managing this project, your leadership. This is a complex project, and we wouldn't be where we are today without your leadership. So thank you. I'd like to thank Sheriff Mark Owen and his team for the many hours they've spent making sure that the design works from an operational standpoint, uses all available space efficiently, and also meets the personnel development, medical, and mental health needs of the inmates. I'd like to thank Prosecutor Zahn for all your efforts at helping to significantly minimize the number of jail beds that we actually need. So thank you. I'd like to thank the Committee for Public Safety again for your work on this. It's a very important piece of the puzzle. And finally, I'd like to thank Adam and his staff at HMN Architects for completing this project on time. We gave you a very short window, and you did a great job at getting it done. for your understanding of our financial constraints, which are important because we want to make sure taxpayers are not affected to the extent that we can, or the effect is limited on the taxpayers, and for your ability to convert the sheriff's vision into a workable plan. So thank you very much for that. I want to thank you all, and I would like to say that a week from today, we will have more information about the next step that we'll be taking. Next week's meeting will be a big meeting. It's important for us to take the week between now and then to think about it, get our thoughts together. But we'll be back next week with some more information about where we go from here. Commissioner Wood.
I just want to echo what Commissioner Fricker said. There's been a lot of people that have had a hand in getting us to where we are right now, and a lot of volunteer time from the committee, the prosecutor, the sheriff, the administrator. Everybody has been just really has seen this as a priority, and I'm very, very grateful. We are a very blessed county. The safety and well-being of Platte Countyans is my #1 concern. Our current jail has served our county well for the last 20+ years, but it's been overflowing with dangerous inmates, as the sheriff has explained, and they've been slowly dismantling this facility. We've had occasion to send our overflow inmates to adjoining counties, which have their own increasing inmate populations to deal with, and the more cramped the inmates get, the more agitated, and our jailers have become at risk during their outbursts, some requiring hospitalization after attacks and riots. 10 years ago, before I ran for commissioner, I served on the original jail committee that recommended finishing out the basement of the current jail, which is called Futures, with additional inmate beds. But today, that remedy would be a mere Band-Aid. However, as you can see in today's plans, if voters approve this, we would be more efficiently and effectively utilizing that space for housing trustees and expanding laundry and kitchen facility needs. There are a few things that a county is hard-pressed to come back from. High crime is one of them. One of the most important jobs is to support our sheriff and prosecutor in making sure that that never happens. Thank you.
Any further comments from the public? Okay, thank you all. We will move to the next item on the agenda, and that is the approval of the consent calendar.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frederick?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Bader?
Yes.
That motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, it's business action items, and the first one will be presented by Sheriff's Office Major Eric Holland, or not. This would be 2024 CO 080.
Good morning, Commissioners. Captain Tony
Morning, Captain.
Avery, Platte County Sheriff's Office Emergency Services Division. What you have before you, 2024 CO 080, is a readoption of the National Incident Management System, otherwise known as NIMS. NIMS is a system that guides governmental offices, non-governmental offices, private sectors, to where we're using the same terminology, we are speaking the same speak. And this is adopted across the country in the emergency management world, and it allows firefighters asking law enforcement, asking emergency management. We all understand what we're actually asking for.
Move to approve business action item 7A, 2024 CO 080, in order adopting the National Incident Management System.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Frederick?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Bader?
Yes.
That motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, 2024 RES 027. This one will be presented by Major Holland. Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Major Holland with the Sheriff's Office. What you have before you is a resolution for the Sheriff's Office to apply for the 2024 Edward Bryan Memorial Justice Assistance Grant and the 2025 State Drug Task Force Grant. I will note there is a minor typo in your resolution title. It should be 2024/2025 Drug Task Force Grants. Total budget impact is, if awarded at the amount requested, would be $672,913.40. Since this is the application, there is no binding agreement on the county, and if funds are awarded, we would come back through with a separate CO on the award.
I move approval of 2024-RES-027, the 2024-25 Drug Task Force Grant and Justice Assistant Grant application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 The motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, 2024 CO 084. Good morning.
I am here to present a contract between the Platte County Assessor's Office for the business personal property, as well as it has a link to the state, which this vendor has provided for us. And what we're trying to do here is, because there's a lot of activity going on at the state right now on personal property, we want to protect our 2025 cost with Ulrich Software Company. And so we're asking that you sign this so that we can go forward for 2025 with this vendor.
Move to approve business action item 7B 2024. Let's see. No, we're on C 2024 CO 084 contract for product and services with Ulrich Software.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? I just have a question. Is this going to be an annual fee?
Well, actually, Scott, it has been, but because the 2024 had already been presented and paid, I am protecting the cost for 2025 based on what we paid on 2024.
Okay, I get it. I understand. Thank you. Any further comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 That motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Next on the agenda, 2024 CO 089 to be presented by County Administrator Wes Minder.
Morning, Commissioners. In a follow-up to our previous comments about the Detention Center Expansion Project, this is a professional services contract with Parsons Associates for an educational campaign for this facility. Scope of the project is they'll assist with the development of materials. They'll handle social media outreach, comment monitoring, discussion. They will also handle some direct mail, and then a series of meetings the commission would conduct over the summer that would provide an opportunity for our constituents to learn more about the project and the impact, and financially and also on a public safety standpoint.
I move approval of 2024-CO-089, a professional services contract with Parsons and Associates.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 The motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, 2024 CO 088. Morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Jennifer Goring, CDB Director. Before you is a contract with Sumner One to lease a color copier for the CDB office space. The county has a contract with Sumner One, but this is just for our office, so the quarterly lease payments would be billed directly to our office. The auditor and council have signed off on it, and we ask for your approval.
Move to approve 2024 CO 088 contract with Sumner One color copier lease for CVB office.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 The motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jennifer. Enjoy the copier. Next on the agenda, 2024 CO 090 to be presented by Parks and Recreation Director Daniel Erickson. Morning, Daniel.
Morning, Commissioners. Daniel Erickson on behalf of the Platte County Facilities and the Parks Department. Commission Order 90 is a bid award to as it relates to the courthouse lawn project. As you're aware, we've prepared a design to refresh the courthouse lawn. Put that plan out to bid. We did receive 2 bids. Staff reviewed both bids thoroughly, and it is staff's recommendation that we award the bid to Horticultural Impressions.
I move approval of 2024-CO-090, the bid award for the courthouse lawn project.
Second?
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 That motion carries 3-0. And next on the agenda, 2024-CO-086 to be presented by a planning and zoning director who looks a lot like Daniel Erickson.
Yeah, I'm here. These next two are planning and zoning items. Commission Order 86 is an acceptance of performance and maintenance bond submitted by Havens Construction Company. This is a performance and maintenance bond to guarantee the completion of public storm drainage improvements within the Bella Ridge Third Plat subdivision. Bella Ridge is located near Park Hill South High School. It's a neighborhood down there. The cost of the improvement is $119,975. The county engineer has reviewed the proposed performance and maintenance bond and the amount and deemed both of them to be satisfactory. Staff recommends that you approve this performance and maintenance bond.
Move to approve 2024-CO-086, a maintenance bond at Bella Ridge.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Want to do the other one?
I move approval of 2024-CO-087, acceptance of performance and maintenance bond for storm drainage at Bella Ridge Fourth Plat.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Clerk, please call the roll.
I think
Oh, I'm
Daniel
sorry.
has something to say.
Do you have some comments?
Same mechanism, performance bond. The amount here is $154,000. This one relates to storm drainage improvements within Bella Ridge Fourth Plat.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 The motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Daniel. Next on the agenda, 2024 RES 026 to be presented by Public Works Director Bob Heim. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Heim, Director of Public Works. Yes, this first item, Resolution 26, is a request for bids. It is for a new sign, excuse me, in front of the Public Works facility. Our current sign is a wooden sign that was built about 15, 16 years ago, and it's in pretty rough shape. So we're going out for bids. We want to test the waters and see what it would cost to replace that sign with an LED double-sided sign that would, probably the top half of it will have some static information, and then the bottom half will be a crawl on both sides that we can announce county cleanup, household hazardous waste cleanup, maybe road closures that are temporary or whatever, something that'll get some more information out to the public. So it'll be a little fancier than what we have now. This has been reviewed by our county counselor, and it will go out for bids. Upon approval, bids would be due at 4 p.m. No later than 4 p.m. on Friday, May 31st at the clerk's office, and then bids would be opened up on the following Monday at the commission session. At the end of that session, specifications will be available beginning May 15th after 8 a.m. at the Public Works office. So with that, staff would recommend that the commission approve this.
Did you say bids are due May 1st?
I'm sorry, bids, the bid documents will be available May 15th. The actual bid is May 31st.
Okay.
Bids are due May 31st.
Got it. Thank you.
Move to approve 2024 RES 026, request for bids for sign replacement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll. Yes.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Next on the agenda, 2024 CO-085.
Commissioners, this item is in relation to our 2024 road resurfacing project. This is on the microsurfacing side of the contract. It is a change order. It's change order number 1 and is the final change order for Vance Brothers. This is for an overage of about 3,900 square yards of microsurfacing. We tend to over and underrun from year to year. We figure roads at an average of 22 feet wide. In this case, some of the roads we did this year were a little bit wider in areas, plus we had a few more cul-de-sacs. That eats up a little more material. So this change order would be in the amount of $14,287.68 as an add to the contract for Vance Brothers. It has been reviewed by the county councilor for form and legality, and the auditor has approved that funds are available. Therefore, staff would recommend the commission approve this change order number 1.
I move approval of 2024-CO-085, the 2024 road surfacing change order number 1.
Second?
We have a motion and a second on this item. Are there any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fricker?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Gainer?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Bob. I just want to go back for a second. Are there any other announcements from county office holders and staff? Okay. Any comments from the public? Any commission comments? Pretty much takes care of it, huh?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
A motion and a second to adjourn. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fricker?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Gainer?
Yes.
The motion carries 3-0. It's 10:56 a.m. and we are adjourned.